as well.
Yeah, it's letting him do it, that's the point, isn't it?
Over the top of Clay Hill, on towards Druids. John Reynolds there in second place. Reynolds, well, around this track, you've got to say, well, we've already said he's not happy at losing the series lead after race 1 today. So Hodgson, well, he'll get it back if he finishes in the position he's at the moment, and Hodgson stays where he is.
Yes.
Through Lodge Corner now, down into Deers Leap. Over the hill then, onto the start and finish straight they go, while we get a chance to look now at Walker versus Reynolds into Lodge, and just look at Chris Walker making that bike squirm under the braking, chucking it sideways, scrubbing the speed off and leading the race. You can see him sticking another gear as he drops down Deers Leap there. Back with the race leader, Chris Walker, down through the gearbox, he's wagging it down, 133.54, that's a lot slower than race 1 today so far, so we can expect some faster times as the fuel load goes down and possibly tyres come into work even better than they are at the moment. Is he in 3rd place? Still, I think he's the emphasis
Still is
there,
but it's good to see him up there again, isn't it, on the Virgin Yamaha, looking more like his old self. Reynolds was right on Walker's case coming into the chicane.
I'm surprised at this. I'm surprised that Hodgson hasn't been able to make more of an inroad into the leaders. I've got to say, Neil Hodgson, on the performance of his last 2 rides, one at Dollington and one here, you really would have expected him to join the leaders by now. If anything, he's dropping off in 5th place.
Well, it's the tyre thing we're going to find out later in the race, aren't we? But I'm as surprised as you are, Keith, I must say.
Out of Druids, down the short straight, under the Bailey Bridge as it crosses into the paddock. We go down towards Lodge Corner now, over the humps and into the braking area, something like 140 odd miles an hour. That is Hodgson, that is the race 1 winner today.
And that's his teammate right behind him.
Yeah, good to see Neil Mackenzie right back on it again, isn't it? Neil Mackenzie then, a challenger again at last this year. Behind them, the Kawasaki of Steve Plater having another fine ride.
He's getting there, that boy, without a doubt.
Simon Buckmaster, their team manager, is going to be very happy with that. Here we are, Cascade, and sideways as he came over the hill there. Chris Walker making that bike is almost slalom skiing, and he's snow skiing.
And again, Reynolds right with him now on this track, well, not close enough.
It's the Ducati again, Julian.
Absolutely.
The Cascades is where the Ducati seems to be working, whether it's Hodgson or Reynolds down that hill. Either that or the Suzuki's just a little bit slack dropping down there. There is Hodgson. Now then, Neil Hodgson. Now then, he's actually managed to drop Mackenzie, not much.
Not much, not much at all.
He's got some work to do to catch Hayden, who's in 4th place, James Hayden.
Yeah, never mind the leading figure. James Hayden actually surreptitiously has been creeping up to that front 3. What we've been discussing Hodgson's toing and froing.
We're on lap 8 of the 18 at the moment. Over hilltop we come now, and you can see Hayden has closed right in. So James Hayden there, girlfriend Jo extending her neck in pit lane.
That's why.
There's the reason why. Fast his lap to James Hayden as he crossed the line last time round. He'll be happy to see that on his board in a minute. Mind you, he knows anyway, I'll be on the telemetry on the bike. So into Druids Corner.
And
still it is Chris Walker that leads. Hayden is the man that's close from right up. He's put the fastest lap of the race up so far. He's still got to do the business to get past 3 people, though.
Yeah, 3 more difficult people you couldn't hope to choose, could you?
Oh, I don't know. You could also have had Hodgson in there. He's getting more difficult to pass than ever lately.
And Mackenzie, the 2 behind him, not easy either.
You can feel the tension in pit lane. The boys come across the line now, and it's still Walker from Reynolds from Hizzy who's getting out of shape now. So Steve Hislop looking pretty sideways on into Old Hall, dropping down the avenue. Then it's Hayden in 4th place, losing a bit of pace, and still Hodgson and Mackenzie not able to do anything with the leaders.
Relative to the leaders, they've stayed more or less stationary, I think, Keith. It's Hayden who's been jockeying to and fro a little. And as you say, Hizzy now starting to look like he's having to try very hard to stay on the pace of John Reynolds and Chris Walker.
OK, who's going to pull the pin first? That's the question. They've all got to challenge Chris Walker down towards the hairpin. Hislop now the fastest man, 1:32.986. Good on you, Hizzy. I couldn't have... Actually, I really would like to see Hislop win a race.
It would be good. It would be good, wouldn't it? Well, no wonder he looked like he was trying hard. He was.
He was.
And Hayden, again at the chicane, right back up with the Yamaha man in front of him.
I'll tell you what, Hizzy ran in there hot. There's no doubt about that. He had to turn it and scrub it all off. So, still Walker leading over hilltop. Still Reynolds second. Still Hislop third. Still Hayden in 4th. Still... yes, Hodgson.
Yeah, Hodgson and Mackenzie.
Check them for a second.
In that order. I've done that twice in the back of the picture. I thought I saw Neil sneaking through, but no, it's number 4 Hodgson.
Which Neil?
Number 4 Neil Hodgson is the first of the INS bikes, followed by Neil Mackenzie on number 7.
Yeah, we can be as generic as we like. It's Neil in 6th place, we can say. Still it is Crawford that leads into Lodge Corner. Crawford, in fact, Walker will go for his teammate, John Crawford.
Near enough.
While we're getting generic terminology around here. Deer Leap then. Oh, look at that Suzuki move as he comes out of the dip there.
When that Suzuki stops shaking about not having its wheels in line, I'll start worrying, I think.
So will Walker.
Absolutely. The whole point of a single-track vehicle is that the wheels stay in line. No one's told Mr. Walker about this, have they?
Oh, that's why you're so slow on the road.
Yeah, dead right, mate.
They're supposed to be sideways, aren't they? Cascades.
Not.
Cascades, big dark line coming from the rear wheel of Walker's bike then, so he is obviously trying. Lap 10 of 18.
That's
Chris
gone
Walker
quick.
He's been in charge most of this race.
But he's got a bigger queue behind him than in race 1 when it was a breakaway with himself and Neil Hodgson.
See the flames out the exhaust of the Suzuki. I love that. That's the only bike that does that out on the British Superbike Championship trail.
It's the only one that's got Walker twisting the throttle as well.
Must keep it in then. So then, Falster chicane. Walker back on it.
Ah, big time.
Over hilltop, camera zooms in. Don't do that again, made me jump. Still it is, Hodgson on bike 4 from 7, Mackenzie.
Neil's looking happier and happier with that Ducati, isn't he?
The future's orange. Over the hill, at Clay Hill, onto Druids now. Walker's gone through. Here's the two INS Ducati men.
Is Neil actually, the Neils closing in on Hayden, or is Hayden losing touch? Or am I imagining it?
They are closing in on Hayden. Maybe it's Hodgson winding the wick up and dragging his teammate Mackenzie with him. Lodge corner then, sideways on Chris Walker as ever, down in the dip, looking for grip if he can find it, up through the left hand onto the start finish straight. Chris Walker leads from John Reynolds, third place is still Hislop, but Hayden looks like he's closing in too. Chris Walker on the National Tyre Suzuki slinks it absolutely sideways right in the face of John Reynolds. John Reynolds is there though. Walker, Reynolds, Hislop, Hayden, Hodgson, Mackenzie is the order of the top 6. It's been like that for lap after lap after lap. It's got to change soon, and Reynolds looks like the man that's going to try and make it change, because Reynolds round Island closed in on Walker. So Walker, he's led this race from the green light, and he might be getting a challenge very soon. Julian's out of his seat.
Yeah, Hislop wide. But he still has third base. He's still there.
Not for long, though, I don't believe, because he's got to slip back now in third place. He's losing the pace. Hayden is homing right in on him. James Hayden's in fourth place behind Hislop. Over hilltop then, little bit of a wheelie there from Chris Walker. Reynolds, well, he's a master tactician, is Reynolds, but has he got the bump and bars for Chris Walker? These two have come together so many times in the 99 season. Not a lot of love lost out on the track when they're fighting with each other, so maybe we're going to have a bit more of that here.
Has Hayden made it through to third? He's still looking, he hasn't made it yet.
Yeah, but what about the INS Ducatis? They have been sat there as if they're on a Sunday afternoon cruise. They are, of course, but you would expect them to be a little further up than that at the moment.
You would, but what's happening now is Hislop is coming back towards them rather than them, but closing in on this
wall. Deary me. If that was anybody else, they'd be through the fence and joining the spectators. I can't believe the way he does that. Let's take another look at this. Sideways on into the braking area at Lodge. He just throws it in with the brakes on, with the throttle shut, so it kicks sideways. He just scrubs the speed off. He's happy with it, and we are happy to watch it. Incredible.
That's like Anthony Gobert when we first saw him on a Kawasaki in World Superbike.
There's the National Tyre Suzuki squad. Margaret was there, John Crawford's girlfriend, and keeping an eye on what's going on. But at the front, it is still the challenge between Reynolds and Walker. We look back to the third place challenge now coming from Hayden. Hayden is on bike 5, closing in on Stevie Hislop. Hislop losing a bit of pace. Hodgson has broken away from his teammate Mackenzie now. So Neil Hodgson on bike number 4 is closing in on this battle for third place. So maybe Hodgson has a move up his sleeve. Well, actually, yes. I said he dropped Mackenzie. He has
Hayden's snaking all over there.
Yeah, well, if anybody is going to challenge Walker on snaking a motorcycle, it will be James Hayden out of this bunch.
I think you're right, Lucky. I think Neil Hodgson is edging up towards that third place
start. Did you see how over the white line? I think James Hayden found another line altogether. It was the other side of the white line. James Hayden looking at the inside of Hizzy. Hizzy holds onto it, that Yamaha. Well, if anything, is very, very positive at the front end and very confident at the front end. And Hizzy, when he's in that kind of a mood, you're not going to pass him. Out towards Druids now. 8 is Hislop, 5 is Hayden, 4 is Hodgson, who has closed right in with him, dragging Neil Mackenzie with him as well on bike number 7 at the back of that battle for third place.
Well, what could happen here is this lot will get tangled up in her own fight for third, and the leading two will escape. Hayden looks, can't make it. Hizzy has his nose off.
Well, still Walker already over the line. He's gone already with John Reynolds chasing him. There's the Virgin Mobile Yamaha time. Oh, go on, James. Hayden's under there. Oh, look at Hodgson. Hodgson goes
Brilliant.
too. Hodgson makes a brilliant run through there as well.
Oh, too hard.
No, not too hard at all. He's cut it to the inside. I think Neil Mackenzie's trying to go around the outside as well of Hizzy, and I think he's going to do it down in the Cascades. No, he's not. Take another look at this. Hislop then hits the brake going into Old Hall. James Hayden slides up the inside, but it's